Max Blumenthal is a beast. Everywhere I've seen Max Blumenthal speak, he has been on point with data, facts, figures, incisive, succinct, an amazing speaker, an amazing person to bring on to explain certain topics and issues. I've seen him, I think it was the Left Forum. The man was amazing. I tried to get Max on the show, but alas, I was not big enough, and he didn't want to come on. But that's it. That's self-determination. I can't fault a person for not necessarily wanting to come on the show. Nevertheless, he's discussing Yemen. And in discussing Yemen, the corporate media often describes this as a proxy war with Iran, even in the language that when Obama green-lighted this war, it was cut into the language of Iran is setting up bases that is threatening us. Well, the fact of the matter is, we don't know that that's a proxy war. We've just been continuously told that there was a proxy war. We have no idea how much emphasis Iran has with the Houthis or how much interaction they have. Just because the Houthis are of a similar religious sect, it is in this kind of perspective of the Saudi government that they're allied with one another. It may be possible that there's some level of support, but the degree of support is in question. Not a proxy war, at least based on the perspective of Max Blumenthal. And I'm going to let him explain it. This was an awesome clip by Max Blumenthal as he goes through, and I'm going to put the link to the bottom so you can see the whole thing. I have a patron appreciation show that's coming up in 10 minutes, so this video is going to have to be very quick and blisteringly fast. But I'm going to show you the Max Blumenthal thing because I love this, I love this, I love this. I mean, this was sold as a proxy war, meaning we got to do something because Iran is setting up bases, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And our allies, Saudi Arabia, who we're trying to protect because we have this pact, oil for protection, in which case we need to protect them, in which case we're going to greenlight a bloody conflict and reign of terror, where one of the richest countries that's armed to the teeth with American and Western weapons attacks, destroys, kills, maims, and tears apart one of the poorest. Donald Trump has stood by and has hugged this guy as if this guy was one of his best friends. This guy has led a brutal reign of terror. And while this may have started under Obama, Donald Trump has taken it up with just as much vigor and has green-lighted the United States assistance with logistics as assiduously as the last president. It's both parties on this. It's not one or the other. It's just so happened that Donald Trump is the one that's holding the bag now, and he's not doing anything to get rid of that bag. Now, there are elements that have decided to end this because there's been so much pressure after the Khashoggi killing that there's been perverse embarrassment and the humanitarian crisis where there's 7 million people that are essentially on the brink of starvation. One of our allies, end quotes. Let's listen to Max Blumenthal incisively get rid of this idea and undermine this notion that this is a proxy war with Iran.
That was there that the Saudis would like to see back in control, correct?
Yes, correct. And, you know, that Cappuccino area is controlled by the Houthis, as you mentioned, who represent the Zaidi branch of Shia Islam, which Saudi Arabia sees as connected to Iran and an existential threat. They don't want them there. They are maintaining an independent government that's fairly stable in the traditional capital of Yemen. So they are a real government. And then you have the Saudi puppet government, whose leader, Mansour Hadi, is in exile, overlapping. You can see them overlapping with al-Qaeda here, which really is 1,000 different militias, and often relying on al-Qaeda-related militias to fight the Houthis, particularly around the port of Hodeidah.
A lot of people, at least the corporate media, the Western media, the establishment media, whatever you want to call it, tend to tell us that this is a proxy war between Saudi Arabia and Iran, and that Iran is pulling for the guys there in the cappuccino color, as you say. Is that true?
It's not, and to the extent that they talk about it at all, MSNBC ignored this conflict for 2 years, as FAIR showed. But now that they're talking about it, what they need to point out is that the Houthis have been winning for 2 reasons. One is that they actually re-commandeered billions of dollars of weapons the U.S. supplied the deposed and dead dictator Saleh, and worked alongside the Yemeni army, which was formerly supplied by the U.S., not Iran. Iran's supplying some political and media support, but not the weapons that our government and the Saudis claim. So the idea of a proxy war is false. The Houthis are an indigenous, nationalistic resistance force that is fighting against a puppet government that poses an existential threat to them.
I'll tell you what, Max Blumenthal, what a
clear, unequivocal, straightforward. That entire video, though, is really good, where Max Blumenthal goes through and explains what is taking place, how it started. And we're at this point where Mohammed bin Salman, I keep calling the man Salman, I don't know why I add the A. Mohammed bin Salman, maybe his reign may be under jeopardy. I mean, the king's brother apparently has come back into the country with notices that he'd be protected from the United States and the UK. That's a fascinating development. I mean, the death of Khashoggi triggering off these consequences where in order to keep the continuity of interaction between the United States and Saudi Arabia, there may be a power struggle in the government itself. I don't think Max agrees with that. I think Max's point more so is he's consolidated power, especially over the intelligence services, which makes this less likely. But there is no way that a guy who's living in the UK because he was terrified for his life and is now coming back into that country with assurances from the United States and the UK is coming back for no reason. He's coming back to get a certain degree of influence. And if he's getting influence, this is not in a vacuum. That influence is within the context of influence of MBS. So, Max Blumenthal, the man, the legend, amazing. So, I'll end this here. I don't want to keep this one long. I have a patron appreciation that's coming up, and you need to, Jamal, you need to link up with Jimmy Dore, Black Intelligence. So it's funny. When I did the clip, and I'll end this quickly, but when I did the clip recently with Winky, I noticed that Jimmy Dore had tried to call me, but he tried to call me on the computer phone. Well, my computer phone is not my real phone, so I don't necessarily see those calls from Google Voice. It's fucked up. It's just kind of a quirk. I'll hit him back up and see if we can link up. But yeah, I would love to link up with Dore. I think he does an awesome show. Black Intelligence, I don't know who that is, but I can look him up. So, all right, guys. If you enjoy the content, please feel free to share, like, subscribe. You can always support the content through PayPal or, of course, Patreon. Thanks all.